I decided to make an explanation of what happened on our trip as far as the problems getting home. We went to Taylor Swift concert in Warsaw, among other things. We went first, I think, Warsaw, Krakow, or was it? I forget exactly. And the three cities in Poland, and then Prague and Czech Republic, and then we got to Prague. Was fine, and we weren't flying most of it. We were busing and training. But in fact, it was an 8-hour bus ride to Prague from wherever we were, which I can't remember if it was Krakow or Warsaw. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. What I want to say is, when we got to Prague, everything was more or less fine. And I can't remember if I was starting to feel ill at that time, possibly, because it's been about 5 days. I've been low-grade fever and sweating in the night. So, but we went to the Prague airport early in the morning. We got a car to take us because it was so early, and got there on time. And then we get there and they don't have we can't book in. We can't, like Tamara does everything on her phone and it won't work. So we have to go to the desk. And the desk doesn't open till 1 hour before the flight, which is neither here nor there, but it's kind of interesting. So when the desk opens, we go up to the guy and he says he can't give us a boarding pass because all the tickets say exchange. They have in all caps at the end of the line it says exchanged. So we don't really know what that means, but we can't get on the plane. And then we thought, well, I says, when's the next plane? He says 10, which is only 3 hours. I thought, well, it's all right, we'll get on that one. So now we don't have any communication. Well, the only communication we have is through Wi-Fi, which means chat, which means, website chat. And in addition, there's no American Airlines in personnel at the airport. And the BA personnel, it turns out, have limited authority. But we really need American Airlines personnel, and there's none. And I went all over that airport. It's not very big. But, so we're doing this chat, and there's 2 hours wait. And then me and Tamara both get on the chat at the same time. So we're kind of comparing results. And they're saying they can't get us a flight. God, to be honest with you, I can't 100% remember now. They said that, well, we figured out, I guess at this point, we figured out that American Airlines, there was severe weather in Charlotte, which was one of our which was our first stop. We were flying London to Charlotte. So they adjusted that flight, that London to Charlotte flight. And in doing that, it jammed up all the flights. Or another way to look at it is, apparently we did have good flights from London to Charlotte and then from Charlotte to Cincinnati, but we didn't have a flight from Prague to London. And whether that's a computer glitch, I don't know. Probably, or just a mistake on the part of the person that adjusted that flight to Charlotte. So we figured that much out. At some point, I think at that point we got a flight to in 2 days or 3 days, something like this. Thursday, Saturday, I believe it was. I believe we had a flight Saturday, or was it Friday evening? At any rate, we had a flight. We had to wait a few days. So he says, okay, we got us a hotel. And then they were saying to me, well, what can we do besides Prague? And I says, well, there's nothing. I think Prague is the only city in Czech Republic. I looked on the map on the phone a little bit, and I says, Dresden. It just says one word, Dresden. Oh, my God. Well, somebody else had talked about Dresden, our driver. So they got us a bus ride to Dresden. I am feeling bad at this point. And I'm exhausted and haven't been sleeping well, and for various reasons. It seems like there was, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. So... so we took the bus ride. I figured, well, at least I could sit and still on the bus for a while. So we did that. Went to Dresden. And then I believe it was either that night. See, I think the flight was the next evening, and we were going to go to the museum in the day, and then the flight in the evening. Well, at that point, I guess 24 hours ahead of time, Tamara can book on her, or can get the boarding pass on her phone. So she tries to do that. It won't work. So she calls a chat again, and the person said, you have no tickets. So so that evening went till 3 a.m. That chat went till 3 a.m. And we figured out that Expedia had canceled all of our tickets inexplicably. We still don't know why they did that. In fact, it makes no sense at all. I don't know why Expedia would even be involved at this point, unless, the only thing I could figure out is unless American Airlines sent them a change charge of some sort. But I don't know yet. We have to figure that out yet still. So, one other thing that happened, and Maria was on the chat with Expedia. And somewhere along the lines, which I guess I won't get into any speculations, but somewhere along the lines, that Expedia person decided, or that Expedia person pushed a button to ask for a refund for Maria's ticket. So then Tamara was on the line with American Airlines on the chat, and they said there's only 3 tickets. Maria doesn't have a ticket. And at that point, that was our low. That was when your stomach really drops out of your trousers. I mean, that was very, very bad. I wasn't feeling good anyway. It's 3 in the morning, and they just say there's 4 travelers, and we've only got 3 tickets. We don't have a flight, but we have 3 tickets. So we figure we need help, and we decided to go to the American Embassy the next day. So we do that. So here we are the next day. We're at the American Embassy. I'm talking to them. They're very, how do you want to say it? It's high security. They don't even want to let us in the building, but they let me talk to somebody on the phone. So I'm not making a lot of progress. I can see, it's not really their job specifically. Their job more involves passports. But I motioned to the guard. I says, how about letting my wife talk to them? So I did. So Tamara talked them into letting us come upstairs, and use the phone, because we can't make a phone call. Well, that was good. And then one additional thing was significant on their part, was they got us a local phone number for an American Airlines agent. Now, of course, in a manner. Now, it would be okay, a long distance phone number for American. In other words, American agent in USA is okay, but there's a 6-hour time difference, so you can have a problem there. But at any rate, we had a local number for American Airlines agent. I don't know where they were. Apparently not at the airport. I don't know. But at first she couldn't make the call, and then they made the call in the behind the big glass windows, like a bank. And we had a nice lobby with a restroom, which was okay, which was good. But so they made the call themselves, and then they transferred it to her phone, which was, on the other side of the windows. So then she's on hold for a long time. In fact, I went up there and I says, "Are you hearing anything?" Because I thought sometimes, they put you on hold and they just forget you're there. So I thought maybe it'd be better if we called back, And at that moment, somebody picked up. So then she's talking and negotiating for a long time. And we get a phone number of the refund department of American Airlines, I believe it is. So we have to call that phone number to get the refund for Maria's ticket negated. I believe at that point, too, they booked us on a flight. They reserved tickets for us on the flight, four tickets. We had the option at that point of paying for Maria's tickets, $2,800. We said, well, we'll try to get that refund negated. So, but it's a USA phone number, 800 number, I believe, and we can't do that with our phones. So we have my wife. Just prior to this, this is to some extent neither here nor there, but it was a busy time. Just prior to this, my wife's daughter Irina got married to a man named Derek, who happens to have, I think it's AT&T cell service, and he can call international, and his phone works international. So actually, they were on their honeymoon in Portugal, but he could call USA on his phone. So my wife asked him to do that, and he's in a pretty good mood at this point, and he helps us quite a bit with that, and he has to wait and do all that crap, but we don't hear back, and we go to the museum, and we go to the museum that we had planned on going to anyway, and I think our flight was for Saturday. Our reserved tickets was for the next day. The museum was extremely close to our hotel we found. And incidentally, at this point, we're getting hotels for one night. They can't do 2 nights in a row. But anyway, so I just froze. So we're at the museum. It's very interesting. I've never seen so many pretty rocks in my life. But anyway, so we don't hear from Derek. But when we get back to, at some point we hear from Derek, I think when we got back to the hotel, and he said, all the tickets are good. He solved the problem of the refund. So, but we still can't, we need to call, we still can't call local, we can't make phone calls on our phones. We could do Wi-Fi chat, and we could chat with each other. We could chat with people in USA, but we can't make a phone call. We could do FaceTime with an iPhone anywhere in the world, but we can't make a phone call. So I'm sure they'll get that fixed, you know, in the future. In the future, they'll be watching this and they'll just be going, back in the old days. But so what I'm going to say is this. We got back to the hotel. Derek said that on chat, Derek said that all the tickets are good. So we need to make that phone call. So there's a girl working the desk. We asked her if we could use her phone, and she's very friendly, and she lets us use her phone. So Tamara's on the phone, her phone, and we're not doing 2-hour holds, but there's always a delay. But the first time she calls, I don't believe I know it's not accomplished. But she says, I have to call back. Will you let me use your phone again? And the girl says yes. And anyway, there's 2 more points I need to make. I won't take this any longer. I don't remember if we went out to eat or what we did. We did something for a while. Then she called back, and I'll interject one other thing. That girl at the desk was very helpful because people are not keen on letting you use their cell phone. It's not really something people do. Like, they hold the door open for you. They don't let you use their cell phone. But she did. She was very friendly, kind. Turned out she was Ukrainian. And turned out she was actually born in Russia, somewhat near where Tamara was born, and at least ways she understood the situation in Russia. And so they had quite a chit-chat. I talked to her quite a bit, too. She was very friendly. And she's going to be a pilot, she says. That was one of the last things we figured out. But anyway, the second time Tamara used her phone, she was able to confirm that we had a flight. All 4 of us had reserved seats on a flight to USA. And I'll tell you, I went into a slam dance. I slam danced like I haven't done since college days. And there was no one to slam with, but I, kind of made up an imaginary partner. But there's a little bit more. That's pretty much the end of the story. Except at this point, we're kind of gun shy, and of course, I'm sick too. But nobody knows I'm sick yet. But that is just, basically nobody. So what I want to say is, we're gun shy at that point. So are we going to get to the airport really, and is there going to be another problem? But I did my slam dance, so I guess I was pretty confident. But it's still in the back of your mind all the time. Well, we get to the airport. And another thing is, Tamara has already, she has the boarding passes. So we don't have to stop at that desk where they wouldn't let us get up, where they wouldn't give us boarding passes. We don't even have to stop there at all. We can go right through security with our boarding passes on her phone. So that's good. So, but then we get to the gate, and then I hear this announcement. Nobody else heard it, but I heard it. And so we go up to the desk, and they're fussing about this damn... I'll tell you what, I about had a heart attack. They're fussing about something. Well, it turns out, and like Tamara says, there are problems. She says, I don't know. My comrade, colleague, she says, is going to help. And then you look at their faces, and they got concern. They have this concerned look on their faces. Well, it turns out they're fussing about our flight from JFK to Cincinnati. Well, I'm like, don't freaking... I didn't say anything, but I'm like, don't. Once we get to USA, we'll find a way. We can get home if you land us in USA. But... So that's what they're fussing about. So they don't get the problem solved, but they let us get on the plane. So the same damn thing happens in Helsinki, which was where we flew to, which was a very, very nice airport. I think I'm better. I had a rough night, but very nice airport. And that's the end of the story, really. We did get the flight from JFK to Cincinnati. Oh, it was another day. So we did, oh, that's another thing. We did manage to get vouchers for a hotel in New York City, which was crazy expensive and not very nice. And that was another job to do that, to get that, make that happen. And they gave us meal vouchers, $12 for a meal for a supper. It's like, man, it's not very much. But anyway, I had a salad, you know. But what was I going to say? That was the end of the story, basically. Oh, I guess one thing I would say was, it was nice to have a flight from JFK to Cincinnati. I was feeling like, heck, we can get a car. But really, an hour and 45 from JFK, from New York City to Cincinnati, hour 45. You can't do that in a car. So anyway, we're home now, and we're looking at future trips, in as much as what went wrong this time and why, and how can we prevent that from happening again. And basically, I think as far as the airline goes, it's like, don't get too many people involved, you know, keep it to a minimum.